The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We know we've had a lot of interest in this webinar, so I don't want to waste any time with any extra verbiage. Just a quick tip on how this webinar is going to go. If you have any questions, type them into the question box. I will get them called out and answered for you. And we do record this webinar as well as all of our webinars. It will be up later today on our website, innovia.com. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Jim Augenstein.
Thanks, Abby. Good morning, everybody. As Abby said, this is Jim Augenstein from Lanham Associates, and I am going to run us through one of my favorite topics, which is a kind of a changing set of topics each time I do this, and that's the top 10 tricks or tips about eShip, things you should know, maybe you don't know. And this is an evolving list. Each time I do this, I kind of talk to some folks in our support team to find out what's trending, so to speak, what's new or what's different. And then, of course, I do have some favorites that are always part of this particular list. So the assumption is that you're familiar with eShip. Maybe you're not an eShip user, but at least you're familiar with it. And you'll get a sense of some of the things that maybe you didn't know were there in the box. I just did this for one of our user groups down in Georgia, and we talked about it afterwards, and they said that they would love to see more time actually working in and walking through the actual tips as opposed to doing them in slides, which I've done slides in the past just kind of in the interest of time. But today we're going to walk through each and every one of them in the system. So I need to jump in and get started, and hopefully we will get through all 10 of them within the allotted hour here. I do have just a brief announcement slide for those of you that are currently users. There's a few things to know. First of all, for those of you that have been waiting for UPS SurePost, it is released. It was actually released at the NAVUG in Reno this year, or right after NAVUG, I should say. And it is available. You do need to upgrade to the most recent version of eShip. And the reason for that is not because we're interested in forcing you to upgrade all the time, but in this case, we're using UPS Web Services, and it required some code and so on that was needed to be in the most recent version. It wasn't something that we could make backward compatible. So you do need to upgrade to SE 6009 or later in order to have UPS SurePost. If you are currently a UPS user and you're using something called HMU, and if you don't know what that is, that's fine. It's an interface that we used many years ago to UPS. It's something that UPS actually created that allowed us to program. And HMU has been retired for many years, and we really, really, really are not kidding. You've got to retire HMU, otherwise you really are at risk of not being able to ship. And you need to move to what we call UPS Link or UPS-Link, which was the more modern interface that UPS released, I think maybe 6 years ago, before my time actually at Lanham. So it's been around for a long time. UPS has threatened to cut off HMU, but they never really have. But we're hearing that maybe that's going to be real this time. So, okay, rate files for UPS. 2016 rate files all are due to be posted on December 28th in our partner portal. So make sure you work with your contact at Innovia to get the UPS rates for 2016 installed in your database. And this is not intended to be a new product webinar today, but I do want to let you know that a new module, or not a new module, I'm not entirely sure where it's positioned yet, but address validation using web services has been released. It was released at the Directions Conference, which is our NAV partner conference that we have every year in the fall, and it is available at current time. It's available for NAV 2016. We're taking advantage of something new in the NAV technology development environment that allows us to create applications, and we will be making it backward compatible. I'm not entirely sure what version it's going to go back to. But please stay tuned. If you have interest, of course, please, at the end of the webinar, my email address will be there, and you can email me, and I'll get you on a mailing list for more specific information as I have it available. Basically, the address verification allows us to validate an address from within a sales order or a couple other locations, and then make sure that we're shipping to the correct address and getting that before we have an issue. It is going to be a part of eShip, and at this point, I'm not 100% sure. I believe we're charging a minimal fee per month for a large number of addresses. But stay tuned, and please shoot me an email if you have interest in that. Okay, so as promised, no slides today. So let me transition over here to Nav. Give me just a second here. And we are working in Nav 2016 today. Of course, there's nothing in these tips today that is not backward compatible to, well, we officially support version 5, so I would say that's fair to say version 5, although I'm pretty sure that these all go back even further. And I don't think that there's any in here that are the most recent addition. These are all fairly older functions that have been around for a long time. So I feel comfortable in saying that these are going to be in your version. But if there's any questions or any doubt, you can always check. So, okay. Well, the first one is what I call the fix package address function, and this actually came from a customer at my NAVUG meeting that I was at just before Thanksgiving. And this is something that they do all the time. They don't verify their addresses at the time of entering the sales order. And very frequently for them, they get a change of address that's required out at the packing station area where we're shipping. And so there's a number of reasons. It could have been that the address was wrong, or someone needs to change the order based on some information that came in over the phone, something like that. So the fix package address command is something that we can use at Packline Scanning to update the address on the order. So let's go in here, and we'll start with order number 1091 today. That's the order we'll be working with for a while. And so I scanned that order number. You can see this is normal Packline Scanning stuff. And again, I am assuming that you kind of know eShip a little bit. So if this is all new to you, you'll get a feel for it. But if not, then you should recognize what we have here. And so we've got a number of items on this order. We'll go ahead and pack a couple in there. And I'll just do a couple packages here. And then we're going to do our standard close package command, which for those of you that are familiar with eShip know that's how we close a package and print our various labels. Now, today I don't have a label printer, so I'm just going to do close package. And I don't have a close package print command. And so you see here that we get an error message. So in this case, FedEx is reporting that the address is in fact wrong. So it requires some research, of course, as to what the problem is, and so we need to go ahead and correct that. So after I've figured out what the correct address is, then I can issue the fix package address command, and I'll just scan that here, right there. And this allows me to open up the address screen and correct it. So here I know that this happens to be Barstow, and it is Illinois. And click on OK. Now, when I do my close package command, and sometimes you might have to do a clear command and then bring back the order. It depends. Yeah, in this case I did with FedEx. If this was UPS or another carrier, then you wouldn't have this. So we may have to do a clear command, which clears out the current order and allows me to go back in. But when you'll see when I get back in there that the order is still fine. So we'll scan our order number again to 91. And now you can see here that I still do have, in fact, the two packages or the two items that were packed. And now I can do my close package command and move forward. So we've got that address corrected. Now, of course, if I was putting this into more packages or the same order, I'm going to have to fix the next package as well. So I might have gone in and maybe changed it on the sales order or something like that. It just depends on kind of on the workflow. But if it's a single package, and it's quick and easy to do that here at the sales order. So okay, I'm gonna do my next favorite command here because I'm gonna use this order over and over again today. So I'm gonna delete all my packages, and then we'll continue to play with that order later on. Now, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, address verification at the sales order time will help solve that, but that isn't always going to be the case, because even though in this example I was using intentionally an invalid address, there could be other reasons for which you may want to change the address. As I said, customer service calls and says, hey, customer wants to ship it to a different location, which does, kind of raise the question. You've got to be a little bit careful, because unfortunately that does raise the possibility of a fraudulent shipment, right? So you do want to be able to be aware that you turn that on judiciously. And of course, these commands are all enabled by setting up either the command globally, or at the carrier packing station, or at the user packing station level. There's some variety into who has access to which command. So it would need to be enabled, and that's the fixed package address command in one of our various setups. Okay, so my next one, here's one of my favorites, and this is this revolves around the always enter quantities, and this kind of depends upon how your workflow wants to be out in the warehouse. And I can think of, I could make a case for having it always turned on or always turned off. Certainly depends more on how you do things out as you're packing and shipping. So, for example, when we pack things, when we scan an item number, you'll notice on the last one that I did, is defaulting to a quantity of 1. Of course, that's the most accurate way to pack things. If you're in a pick-pack environment, I'm putting things in a box. As I'm putting them in the box, scan quantity of 1, quantity of 1, quantity of 1. It's very fast, and of course, very accurate. It does depend, of course, that you have things barcoded, or that you're going to use the keyboard for manual entry, but that's one way of doing it. In another example, though, you might be shipping something that's lot numbered, or maybe you're really looking for, you've already got a process whereby maybe you're using warehousing, you've registered the pick, you're certain that the items have been delivered properly and picked properly. So the enforcement of scanning 111 is not necessary. You can let the user enter in the quantities that they've scanned, or that they're shipping through a visual inspection. So that's a possibility as well. So in that case, we would have the always enter quantities turned on. So you do have some choices. Now, for this example, I think that we're having the system default to always having us scan and enter a quantity of 1. But then when it comes to lot numbered items, we want to be able to enter in the quantities, because for a lot number, obviously it's just much faster if I've got a large quantity of a lot tracked item. So we'll start off here with, we'll put, so you can see defaults to a, oh, I must have shipped some of that yesterday, so we're not going to it's not going to let me overpack. Okay, so in this example, then I got a quantity of 1. Didn't realize I'd shipped that order yesterday when I set this up. So let's go to the lot numbered item, however, and when we do the lot numbered item, and it's 74000, I'm just going to do the lot item here this way. When I enter that, notice now it pops up, and the first thing it's going to ask me for is my lot number, and we'll enter in, or we'll just scan a lot number on this. But now it's going to ask me for a quantity, so we'll do a quantity of 10. So in this case, globally, we have the system set to automatically default to a quantity of 1, but then for the lot tracked item, that always enter in the quantities. Now, where does this come from? And let's go over here to items. And then on the 74, let's see, 74, here on the lot tracked item, when I edit this, edit here, and down on the eShip tab, you'll notice here that there is a checkbox that says always enter quantity. So this allows me to set those up so that even though the system is globally set to automatically assume a quantity of 1, it will allow me to enter in the quantities just for that item. So either choice there on which one makes sense. I like kind of working it this way. The other, of course, possibility is you're shipping items that are high valued and you want certain items to be absolutely quantity of one, whereas the rest of the system you want always enter quantities. So you could set it up that way as well, or that's another reason that you could have it set it that way to always be that default quantity of one. Okay, next one is, and I want to go back in and delete all my packages on that. Use that again. Okay, so scan missing serial lot number. Now I get questions all the time of, I want to enter in the lot numbers, but I want to do it in an easy way. And I don't necessarily care about capturing the lot number as I'm packing each box, but I'll get that information later. Now this assumes, of course, that you are in a situation where you need to verify those lot numbers as you're shipping. And most customers are that use lot numbers, not necessarily using them all the way throughout the warehouse, but at least as we're packing and shipping so that we know who received which lot number. So here I need to make a change on how this the behavior is. And in eShip, we have different settings of how we can control the lot numbers and when do we enter in the information. And here, let's go edit again. I should have stayed there last time. So here we have this eShip tracking code. Now the eShip tracking code changes the behavior of when we capture the lot. And let's go look. I'll set this one here, and we'll go look at it. So on this lot number, what we're saying is, first of all, I called this lot late. We do need to pack the lot number. So by having this checkbox, it's going to require the lot number to be packed. I've also said I want to pack it late, meaning I don't have to put it into the box at the time of packing, and then I transfer my lot numbers over to item tracking. So this is the settings that I would use. And of course, there's settings here for expiration dates as well. We're not going to use those this morning. We're just doing the lot. So I'm going to change this behavior from regular lot to lot late. And then let's go back into pack line scanning again. And we'll start with our order that we just used. That was 1092. Yes, 1092. Right? Now, so here's I have my order. And now I'm going to enter in my lot, my part number there. And notice when I do that, it doesn't ask me for my lot number like it did in the last example. It's just wanting to know what the quantity is that I'm shipping. All right. So that's it's not going to complain. And then so then we would do a close package command. And on the close package command, of course, it does its normal process. But if I try to close out the order, because this is set for lot numbers, I need a close order force actually because I'm shipping it short. So let's do a close order force, COF. And when I try and close this out, it's going to complain and say, hey, wait a minute, you haven't entered in your lot numbers, which is exactly what you'd want it to do. So with the command that we use then is scan missing serial lot number. And so that's the SMSL command. And when I scan then, it pops open a screen that allows me to enter in the lot numbers for the order that I just was packing. Now, if I had multiple packages here, it would have asked me to enter in the information about the multiple packages so that I could update multiple boxes at the same time with the SMSL command. So if I had the lot numbers perhaps on the pick ticket or something like that, I could enter in the lot numbers and update the packages all at once in this screen instead. So now we'll scan a lot number, and then we'll click on OK, and we're fine. Okay. So now we would close package or close order force again on this one and ship it short. So okay, I'm going to go back to delete all packages because I am going to ship this one again, and we'll play around with that one some more. Okay. Simple command, clear. Clear sometimes, and you saw me use it earlier, clear is used when something goes wrong. We get interrupted at the packing station, or in the example of I just used the lot number. Maybe the lot number label on the box itself or the product was missing and I need to do some research. But I've already started packing some of the order. Clear allows me to clear out of the pack line scanning screen, but still save the work that I had so I could pick it back up again. So I could set the box aside or whatever, and then come back and pick up where I left off. So the clear command is actually a pretty useful command. So let's go back into 1092 again. Actually, I need to go edit that order because I wanted to add some items. I didn't realize I'd shipped those two yesterday. Yep, sure enough, I shipped those. So we'll just reopen this and add some items to it, make it easier. We'll just change the quantity, and we'll make this 8. Okay, and now we release. Okay, back to pack line scanning, and 1092 again. All right, so we're working on 1092, and we'll now scan our, do this. We'll put 2 of those in a box, and we'll close package. And let's put a couple more in. And now, of course, something happens. I've already packed 2. I printed UPS labels, and I'm ready to go. If I were to do my list packages, of course, you'd see that the labels were there. But something happens. And now I'm going to scan the barcode for my lot tracked item. I could have sworn I printed that yesterday. So we'll plug that one in. And now I look down at the item, and I don't have a lot number. I wanted to change that to scan missing serial lot. So, but I complained, or if I entered in a lot number here now, if it had prompted me for the lot number, and the lot number was missing, or I couldn't find it, now I've got to go do some research. So the answer is to then use my clear command, which is here, and now it clears out my order. Now, in order to get this behavior right for the next one, let me go back and change my item back to the regular lot number code that I wanted from the beginning here, and edit, and we're going to go back here to lot. Okay, so this is the normal behavior. When I scan an item, it's going to want the lot number, and it'll complain if I try and close the package without it. So now I've done my research, and I found out that I was in fact missing a lot number, and I could actually go on and do another order. If I were to plug in another order here, we'll just grab another 1093. I can work on that one, but and ship it if I wanted to. So this allows me to get back into my original order. So let's go back to 1092 again, and you can see here that if I do my list packages, we in fact, oops, wrong. Sometimes I grab the wrong barcode here. List packages. So now I've got my packages that were already started. I'll have to delete this one because it's not going to have anything in it. So I've got the packages that I started with, and I can continue to work. So now I'll scan a barcode, and we got 10, and say OK. So now I can continue on because I found my lot number. Now I also want you to notice here that I cheated. So look here and see that in this case, the barcode, the part number that I scanned also has the lot number embedded in it. This is another little, this is kind of 11, tip number 11, and that is if you've got the ability to embed the barcode, the lot number or the serial number into the barcode, then eShip will allow you to scan that as a single scan. We just have to tell the system what delimiter that we're using to separate the item code from the actual lot or serial number. So this is a nice, fast, easy way to get your lot numbers into the system. All right. So now that shows you the possibilities of the clear command. And the other thing that I actually wanted to show you was, and I forgot to print the barcode here for that. If I enter in this lot or this item, oops, 74000 lot. And now I'm going to enter in a lot number which doesn't exist, right? And I'll say OK. And it's going to say I'll do quantity of 5, and it should object here and say, hey, oh, I've already overshipped my order, so I can't do that. But it would have objected to that lot number. So this assumes that maybe the lot number on the barcode was wrong, or I read the paperwork wrong, so I've got to do clear to go do my research to figure it out. So although clear is a pretty simple command, it can be very, very useful to continue to streamline the workflow in the way that we ship. So, okay, let's delete all packages there again. Okay. Standard packages. Standard packages, now of course I realize this is not going to apply to everyone, and that's the true of all of these. Some are universally applicable, some kind of depend somewhat on your workflow. And that's to be expected. But standard packages is a great tool for someone that has customer-specific methods of how the customer wants things to be packed. And so with standard packages, we can create that relationship. And I need SE62 here. And over on the Navigate tab, we have Package Unit of Measure. And so for this particular customer, 701101, when they order that, they're expecting to receive that in cans of 4 per box, no more nor less. So, of course, you'd need to communicate that information to the warehouse in some way, either on the pick ticket or something like that. But or you could even use a sales order comment to communicate that to make sure that the packing folks know that that's how this order needs to be shipped. So, but once I've done that, then it's also a fast way of creating labels, assuming that we're putting 4 cans into the case. Each case then is going to weigh the same. So if I've done a visual inspection, then it's a quick way to create a bunch of labels. And notice this is driven by the customer. It's also possible to drive this on the item card as well, but for today I'm using a customer example. So how this works in Packline scanning. So we'll start off, and this is order number 1093. So in 1093, now notice that I had placed a comment on this sales order. And so this, and then there's a setting which allows me to pop that up at the shipping. This is a nice way to make sure that shipping is aware of that, so that the comment can pop up. All right, so it requires 4 cans per shipping box. So we'll just click on OK and get out of there. And now I just use the create standard package command, which is CSP. And when I do that, and now you can see it's packed 48, and when we list packages, now you can see that we created, whatever that, I think that's 10 UPS labels really, really quickly, okay? And of course, this does assume that they're all going to weigh the same, but it makes sense because it's the same item. So it's a fast and easy way to ship to the same location a large number of items. If you're doing a restocking for a distribution center and they're all going to the DC and then they redistribute, that's fine. Of course, in an EDI environment or something like that where you've got a different shipping address or different label requirements, this is not all that useful, but we have a lot of customers that are shipping just resupply orders and they all go to one location. So Create Standard Package is a nice way and a fast way to get those labels created very, very quickly. Now a subset of this that I've sometimes done is how to use an assortment. So if a customer wanted 2 cans of yellow and 2 cans of black all in one box, there's a process called using assortments, but you'll have to stay tuned for that for the next time we do this, and I'll add that one into my top 10 for that one. Okay, so that's the last time I'm going to use that order, so we'll go ahead and close that one out and post it, and we'll be done. Okay, I do a lot of sales calls, a lot of demos for customers and potential customers, and one of the things that comes up, one of the comments that comes up regularly is that we don't barcode our items, and or we can't start off with everything barcoded. It's going to be a slow process to get them things barcoded. We can start with barcoding on the inbound side, but we have a lot of inventory which has not at this point been barcoded, and yet they want to, right? So typically you're driving toward using eShip, not just because you want to ship UPS and FedEx. Anyone can do that, but to add the accuracy into the inventory as I ship, and to reduce shipping the wrong thing, that's really one of the primary functions of eShip. or not just, as you know, the integration to the carriers. And so the ability to scan the barcodes is really kind of crucial to a successful overall project. But the reality is you may not be able to start that way. So the first option, of course, and this is actually one of my customers at the NAVOG meeting in Georgia, they showed me some examples of their PIC tickets. So they've got the barcodes actually printed on their PIC tickets that go out to the warehouse. And so they do have locations, and they're using warehousing, and so they can at least scan the locations. But again, not everything is barcoded. So they've got that on the PIC ticket. And is it the most preferable way to do it? Not really, but it is a good starting point. And then you have to just rely on a double verification or visual verification. So that's one process. Maybe you can't start off that way. You don't want to rely on that. So you want to rely on a better visual inspection. So there's another command which is called missing order lines, which allows us to ship and to look and verify what we're shipping. So I'm going to scan here, starting number order number 1094, and then I'm going to issue the missing order lines command, and that is right here, M1. And what this does is it pops up the screen that allows me to look and see what was supposed to be on the order, right? And then if you have there's a setting, and we'll go look at that, that allows me to go ahead and say, oh yeah, that's my item number, I verified it. And then when I click OK here, or press OK, or enter OK, it takes me down into the regular packing screen. Now we're still set to automatically do a quantity of 1. Well, that may not be that useful here. So I have a temporary command. This could be a global setting, but I do have a temporary command which allows me to momentarily override what happens when I scan a part number. So we'll go back and we'll do missing order lines. And now you can see here that it knows that we've already packed a certain amount. And now when I click on OK, now here it allows me to enter in the item into the box, or the quantity into the item, into the box. So that could be your global setting. So scan the order, missing order lines to look to see what was on the order, visual inspection, yeah, that's what I have. Click on OK or hit the keyboard, enter key, it'll take us down into the package screen, and then enter in your quantity. So that's a way to start off with eShip if you don't have things completely barcoded. Okay, so let's delete all packages here again, and I want to show you where that setting lives. So this comes on the packing station setup, and we'll go here, packing station. And on the Scanning Fast tab here, there is a checkbox right there which says Allow Item Resource Lookup. So that checkbox needs to be positive so that we can look up the item, and then when I press the OK key, it'll bring that item that I has focus on down into my packing detail screen, or the lower section of the packing scanning screen. So that if I don't have that checkbox, then all it allows me to do is to look at the list of items that were on the order. Also notice when I packed the quantity of 1 and then went back in, it showed me the quantity of 9 packed. It's another way of, if I get interrupted during the packing process, just to kind of to double check where I was on the order, so I can see what the system thinks I've already packed. So that's another method if you wanted to allow them to look up that information, but then not use the OK button to populate the sub-screen. You would just take that off, and they could still use missing order lines. It just wouldn't allow them to select the item and bring that down into the packing sub-screen. So that's missing order lines. Very useful for starting off in a non-barcode environment and other things. Okay, this is my next favorite topic, and will probably be on every single one of these that I do, and this is called standard options. The standard options really is a way of without customization, allowing you to have the behavior of the standard eShips changed somewhat. And we'll go look at several possibilities here to discuss what can be done. Let's start first with order number 1094. And I don't see my standard option barcode sheet. I need to print that real quick here. So we'll start off with the order number 1094, and we're going to actually run through a couple of the options that I set up and some that have been around since the beginning of time. So let's go to 1094. Let's go back into Packline scanning. Okay, and I want order number 1094. So we'll scan 1094 here. Okay, and then we're gonna put in item number 70,000. Oh, I did not delete all packages. Delete all packages. Okay, did I not do that on the last? And okay, hold on 1 second. Let's go modify that. I thought I had deleted everything. Okay, let's we'll increase this to 2, and then see how I stand on the rest of my stuff here. Yeah, I'm good. Okay, and we'll increase this to 20. Apologize for that. I thought I had updated my quantities last night, and we'll release. Okay, so I'm gonna, just to make sure everything's accepted, we'll do the clear command and start over again, and then we'll start with order number 1094. There we go. Okay, so now we'll start off with the 70,000. Okay, and we're gonna pack one of those. Now, this is literature information, and this actually again came from one of our customers. So what they've done is they set up a standard option which identifies the box size for the item itself. All right, and that's what we've done is they've created it, and the box is lit pack. That's something that they've identified as a particular box. And the X command, or the standard option command, you'll note has the // and the // by the way indicates that this is a command, not a part number. That's how we tell eShip that we're using a command. The X indicates that it's a user-defined command or an X command or standard option, and then this is just the name that I give it. We called it lit pack. All right. Now, what did this do? I'm going to close my package here, and then we'll come back and we'll do another one here, and we'll start look at several of them at the same time. So now I'm going to do a 7101, and we're going to do we're going to have a different bar command, and we're going to add some handling charges into that particular order. And now I'm going to close package again. Close package is CP. And we're going to ship another one of these guys, 70101, so we can see the differences. And we'll do a close package, simple close package on that one. Okay. So now let's go look at our packages and see kind of what's happened, and then we'll talk about the setup. Oops, I didn't do a close package. Close package. Okay, we should have 3 packages here. All right, we'll look at the first 2 and then we'll do the third one. I'm not sure which one I'm missing. Oh, I put this into the same package. I didn't close package on the first one. Okay, so let's do another 70101. And add handling to that one. And now we'll close package. and this will probably be what I needed. I forgot to close package on the first one. All right, so now we'll list packages, and we'll look at the various packages that we created. Okay, so here you can see in this example, we'll go look at the package and edit. Now here, what that X command did, we put 2 items in, so my weight's going to be off. But with that one, what we did was we passed in the box size. Now the box size, as you know, was required at the beginning of the year for all shipments. But maybe you don't have box sizes associated with your items. And so what we've done is we've overridden the dimensions that were associated with the item or items. In this case, it was zeros. And we said, hey, this is a 13 by 10 by 12 box. And then if the box is on the scale at the time, we capture the scale weight, we do the comparison, and so this one gets shipped out as a dimensional shipment. Now this one here, we also made a change, and I didn't do any overrides here, but my shipping is quite a bit higher than what I would expect. Let me see here. No, it's this one here that has it. Okay, so this one didn't get any standard options. This is the comparison. This is the one, same item, the shipping charges are much higher. So why is that? Well, if we go here, we can see over here that there's a shipping charge is higher. We have an accessorial charge of $9. Well, where'd that come from? So what I did was, in this case, we added a handling charge right here and said that this is additional handling. And so that was that X command, X add hand, allowed me to add the additional handling charge into that package. And this one just, for UPS, it must be apparently $9. So that's a way to pass those values into a package without having to do any custom programming. Now let's go look at the standard options setups so you can see how we drive these. So how am I doing on time here? Oh, okay. Right on, I think. Okay, so here's my additional handling. And notice it says here that there's, let me spread these out just a little bit. You can see here that there's one for UPS, one for FedEx. So it's a different location or a different table where we need to flag that additional handling. Obviously, if you're using just UPS, we can't have it be as a global setting. So for each carrier that you may have installed, then we would have that checkbox checked. And then some of these, the lit pack, for example, this is not carrier specific. So some of these can be very carrier specific or just global. Let's go look at the lit pack, and you can see here that if I open up my override tab, that what I'm doing here is we're overriding the dimensions, and we're doing a 13 by 10 by 12 box. Now I think many of you probably already started using these last year when we had the change to ground dimensional shipping for UPS and FedEx. You might be already familiar, but you may not be familiar with all the other things that we can do. So my handling charge then, if I go look at it, and then I have to go into my UPS specific, here is now that opens up the options, shipping agent options for that particular package, and then put the checkbox here for additional handling, and that's where we get that additional $9 coming in. Now, some things can be checked in the standard options, some things can, it just depends. And you just have to kind of try and see, and you'll get an objection if it's not available to us to override or to change. Give me just a second. Okay, another one here is commands. So what we can do is, with this, we can link commands together. So we have a single scan. So for example, if you're shipping a large number of similar items and you've packed into different size boxes, you've used the standard option to pack in, now you've got one group of items left, you've done a visual inspection and you're certain that those are all correct. You just want to, with a single scan, quickly pack the remaining items in the order, close your package in print, and then close the order and print whatever is associated with the close order command. So here then I would have a simple command, which is X all P, which is pack all, or pack remaining, close package print, and close order print. Now this is a very useful command for those of you that may be in an e-commerce environment where You've got different packing stations, and you route all your single items packs to a different packing station than to those that have a multi-pack station. So the packer in the single item does a quick scan of the item number, BOP, it scans that once, and then do the X command, which is to close package print and close order print. Or you could have a quick visual inspection. Yep, that's the right item. Pack all, close package print, close order print. So single scan then will link all three commands together. It's a very fast way to get out of an order in pack line scanning. So you can link as many as 10 commands together if it makes sense. So if you're not familiar with standard options, go and take a look, play around. There's quite a few things that you can do with them. Here's one where we add pallet weight, for example, to the order. So they can be very powerful tools for streamlining the workflow in pack line scanning. Okay, so that's that one, number 7. Okay, we're up to number 8. Number 8 is, let me delete all packages here. Number 8 is future close order, and that's FCO as a pack line scanning command. I don't really have, oh no, I do. Why would I want to do that? Well, maybe you have to stage an order for several days. Maybe it takes you several days to pull an order together, but you want to go ahead and print the labels, and maybe you've got a packing slip label that gets on there, and for whatever reason you've got to stage it for a couple of days. So you do all the work in pack line scanning, and then you issue the future close order command. And then when it comes time to actually ship it, you pull the order back up and do close order, and it's done. So you can allow it to sit and be ready to go for when you actually do ship it. Now there are some rules around the different carriers and how long you can keep a label open. I believe FedEx is 10 days, UPS is 7 days on certain levels of shipment. So you do need to be aware and check into that with your carriers as to how long a label can remain open before it gets voided. So you do have somewhat of a window there, but it is a useful way for getting large orders together and to be able to ship them. And of course, in an LTL environment, if it takes days perhaps to get the pallets built up and labeled, then you can work on the order, or usually through the bill of lading, you can continue to build that up, do a future close order. And then when the trucker actually gets there, you can pull the order back up, typically from the bill of lading, and then post the bill of lading, and you're good to go. So it's a nice way of recognizing that you've got some work done, and then to quickly be able to print the last bit of paperwork as you go through when the order actually ships. That's future close order. Okay, so my next one is this one came out of my meeting in Georgia, so I don't normally have this one on my list, but I added it. The conversation was we ship items, and sometimes our items are required 2 boxes for a single item, right? We're not using assemblies or that kind of thing. We just require two boxes. And so in here we have the create extra package command, which allows me to ship 2 boxes against a single line item. So in eShip, if we have a sales order and we have a quantity of 1, when we ship, we're looking for a quantity of 1, and it doesn't give me the ability to ship 2 items in a single box. Or excuse me, 2 boxes for a single item. So the create extra package is a way to get around that when I don't have a SKU that I'm actually shipping. So let's take a look at how this can work. So that's order number 1095. All right, and you can we'll do a missing order line so you can see what's on this order. So on this order, I have a lamp with a red shade, and I'm shipping 2 of those. But I know this is going to have to get shipped in 4 boxes. I'm going to put cancel here because I don't want to populate yet. So we're gonna scan the item number. We're going to scan the right item number. What do I need here? Oh, 7410. It's a good thing eShip is smarter than I am. Okay, 7410. There we go. and then we're going to we'll do a closed package because it fits into its own box. All right, and then we have to put the lampshade in. So now what I have is I've got my scale weight for this one, obviously, and I've got a shipping charge, but now I don't have a part number to scan for the lampshade, right, because it's just part of it, but I have to put it in another box. So I scan create extra package, and then the theory is that I've got the box sitting on the scale, and I'm capturing the scale weight. Well, I don't have a scale in my demo environment here, so I'm going to use another command, which is OPW, which stands for override package weight. And now I'm going to enter in my weight manually, okay? Now, you could, of course, use this exact same process if you don't have a scale in your environment either, but in my case, I physically don't have a scale, so I had to use the override package weight. But if you had a scale and the lampshade is in the box, then I could capture the scale weight, and when I create that extra package, it'll capture it, and then I could say close package. I wouldn't be able to do that here. It would error out. So I've got that, and now I do my close package. Now in this case, both lampshades fit in, so the last thing into a single box, the last thing is for me to pack my regular base, right? So now when we do the list package command, we'll see that I've got 3 packages here, and there's the 2 base lamp bases. Yeah, those are pretty heavy lampshades. And there's my 2 lampshades. So very useful feature for adding in a package when you've got to do that, and you only basically have one item that we're actually shipping. So that's the create extra package command. And again, that came out from one of my customers that's using it. Okay. All right. Well, that's my top 9, I guess, for eShip. Now, of course, it would not be a Jim webinar if I didn't throw a nod out to eReceive as well. So I've got an eReceive nugget here for you. So give me just 1 second, and let me close that order out. Okay, and let's go over to eReceive. Okay, so on eReceive, we'll start off, and for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with eReceive, eReceive is a product similar to eShip. It allows me to add workflow and lots of different functions into the receiving process. And one of my favorites is to ensure that the data is entered into Nav that is associated to our items that we would use for the downstream operations in some cases. Now in this case, you'll see that we have a flag set on some items, and I need to make sure that the weights are in the system. I don't use a scale in my operations. I'm going to rely on the weights that are set up on the eShip tab of the item card for my shipping process, or maybe I need the weights for rate shopping from a sales order. I've got to have the weight there. So for some reason, I want to flag that the weight is required, and that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to start off by receiving. I'm going to scan a part number. Now, I want you to notice this is another feature. I'm actually doing 2 for 1 here. It doesn't recognize this part number. You might recognize that as a UPC number. And so it's asking me, hey, do I want to create a cross-reference? This is, of course, a setting that I can have. And it says, hey, when I scan a part number, the first thing is check to see if this cross-reference exists. And if so, then use it. Otherwise, allow me to create the cross-reference. And, of course, this is a checkbox, which you can turn on or turn off. And then I can now have the association. So in this example, the vendor shipped me in some product, and rather than label it with my part number, which is what they're supposed to do, they mistakenly put UPC numbers on it. So I do a visual check, and I say, wait a minute, let me double check. Yes, this is in fact the right item. They just changed the barcode on me, so yeah, we'll go ahead and create a cross-reference. And so I would drill in here and find the item number. And in this case, I believe I'm using a 70104 is the item, and I click on OK. and now I have a cross-reference for that item. Okay. Now that becomes a usable cross-reference in the system. And also notice that you can see it's kind of gray, but we've set up eReceive on a packing rule, a receive rule, excuse me, to require that the net weight and the gross weight be there. So I have a couple of options here. On the Actions tab, I can actually put the box on the scale and get the net weight or the gross weight from the box or from a scale, or if it's printed or if I know what it is, then I can enter it in. Like if I don't have a scale in line, I can put the box on the scale and then get that information. Click on OK, and now it takes me into continue the receiving process. In this case, I've got 5 I'm going to receive. Now note here that I've got only 5 of 10 received, and there's the actual nav item number. And just to show you the cross-reference actually works, now I'll scan the cross-reference again, and this time it takes me directly into the item itself, and now you can see that I've received 10. So that's kind of a 2-for-1 there. 2 of my favorite little functions within eReceive, and that rounds us out to the for the top 10, and takes me pretty much to the top of the hour. So 4 minutes to spare. I do have one more slide here. So let me. It doesn't matter. I'll just close this out. Okay, and while I do that, Abby, did we have any questions that came in?
I do not have any questions, Jim. If any of our attendees have any questions, you can type them into the question box, and I'll get them called out to Jim, but so far, nothing.
Okay, that's kind of what I expect. This is usually a pretty quiet group. First of all, I'll say thanks for joining us today. I do these a couple times a year. Innovia asks that we do some demos just for their customers, which we do, but we also do them globally. So the list is, as I say, I try and change the list up a little bit. There are lots of commands. There's a lot of scuttle out there. I should say scuttlebutt or verbiage in the channel right now about eShip and commands and complexity and yeah, there's a lot of commands, but there's also a lot of ways that you guys all manage to configure your organizations to pack and ship. So while there are many commands, it's also very, very powerful. We're not just the integration to UPS and FedEx. I think we're a lot more than that. So the commands are there all with the intention of making packing flexible but streamlined as well. Here's my email address. There's my phone number. You are welcome to call and ask me questions if you'd like. Some are appropriate for me to answer, and some I'll refer you back to Innovia. But I know they don't mind if you reach out to me directly, and then we can make the decision on what's the next right step. I do have one announcement, and that is we are going to be doing our first annual Supply Chain Summit. And I do now have dates for this, May 23rd to the 25th next year. It will be in Atlanta. I don't know the venue yet, but I know it's in Atlanta at one of the conference venues in the Atlanta area. I believe it's going to be somewhere which is very user-friendly for transportation. You can just fly into Atlanta and then take the MARTA and be a couple blocks away, but I don't have that confirmed yet, so I think that's where it's going to be, but I can't tell you for certain. There will be 3 days of in-depth sessions on EDI, eShip, and Ace Warehousing, which are, of course, 3 of the products that form the core of what we do at Lanham with supply chain execution inside NAV. Each product will get a day, so if you're only EDI, you could certainly attend for a day, although I think most EDI customers are also using eShip, and so that might be 2 days. If you are a current user of Ace Warehousing, then there'll be some in-depth sessions there. There'll be a little bit of exploratory, so if you've not seen Ace Warehousing before and you want to take a little bit closer look, we'll be doing that as well, but the assumption will be that you are users of these products, and we'll be focusing on kind of detailed sessions around those areas. So mark your calendars, 23rd to 25th. If you have interest then just check back at our lanhamasoak.com website, and there will be information posted there, or of course you can always email me as well. So Again, I'll say thanks for taking the time today. We always appreciate the chance to reach out to our customers, and we do appreciate your business. And for those of you that are current customers, we thank you for being a continuing customer. Abby, that's all I have for today. Thanks you as well for making your customers available to us. We appreciate that as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Jim. Thanks for everybody for attending, and we will see you at our next webinar.
Bye-bye.